Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life. I'm your host Jerome Butler, and today we have a blessed and special treat for you. We've got Bob the Mystic, a man that you've vaguely seen just around the circles in these videos, and we've got the man Jamikes, with us, old Tree of Lifer, making his full circle. He's a creative genius and a creative master with a paintbrush, the camera, and so much other things, but we get to that in a moment. Yeah, we want to welcome you forward to these videos if you've been coming to this channel for the first time. And we are Celia Media. We're of course on YouTube, we're also on Facebook, we're also on IG. And you can follow me, Jerome Butler, also on Facebook, or Jerome Butler on IG. Yeah, I'm happy that you're staying on the platforms to be informed. And the platforms is definitely Celia Media. We're right here at the Tree of Life in Kingston, Jamaica. We're in the Arts College. It's the summer. I mean, the kids just are about to finish up their summer classes, so it's all creative and artistic. So my topic today will be on human evolution, right? Have we really evolved? Have we grown? Have we evolved? If we have evolved, what is evolution? And if we have grown, what is human growth? How can we characterize human growth and development, right? So in the whole sequence of understanding our journey as human beings, one might even suggest this is an anthropomorphic view or anthropological, maybe going through the archaeological and even the linguistic to find the whole essence of human growth and evolution. So first off, I would just start out to say that in terms of how we've been given the textbook, we are called hunter-gatherers at the most basic stage. I put gatherer first, hunter after, because my ancestors told me we took nuts and berries from the trees and we didn't hunt animals till after, okay? We were without foods on the trees. That's when we started hunting. So we didn't start out hunters or hunter-gatherers. So if we started out merely, Jamikes, merely a feed off what we see around us, yes. Right, Bob, if we just start out being humans that feed from the trees, yeah. Have we evolved from that? What do you feel about that? Have we evolved from that? Have we grown from that human stage? Are we still picking berries from the trees?
We are still picking berries from the trees. It's a matter of how we're doing it in this time. It's just a matter of how.
True.
And how we have gathered up land to plant many trees in order to make money.
True, because
so I think what really evolved is our is our way to take advantage of each other.
Excuse me. Today just nursing a little cold. We can't even make mention of the palm oil industry. That's taking over a lot of land in currently Africa and the Pacific Islands, right? So Mike's just suggesting that we're still picking berries from the tree, but the evolution is that maybe we're planting more trees and just going and finding trees.
Yeah. We're doing it for different purposes. We're doing it, well, mainly for one purpose, and it is to feed one another.
With a commercial aspect to it now.
But no, it's a commercial aspect to it. But I think really and truly the effort has never really changed.
Alright, so we're going to put this in context for you because it's 3 minds and we're going to keep it in a way that you can understand it. So we're talking about human evolution, right? So we're starting off with food before we go to archaeological or even linguistic. We're starting off with food. So, because we have to feed ourselves, right?
Yeah, that's a base.
So at first, how we fed ourselves was based upon the environment. Then Mike's is suggesting agriculture, right? Because then you start farm, because you have to plant many trees.
Yeah.
So then,
it's agriculture now.
It is suggested, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's accepted or it's the actual fact, but it is suggested that agriculture is feminine. That men, after we got into the so-called hunter stage, or we went to, after we done get all the things them, and then we said, well, we're going to look some meat now or some things, so we go hunt, right? It was said that it was the women that painstakingly went over the seeds that were left over from the fruits that we had, right? Mm-hmm. And they were the ones that noticed if you would toss the seeds a few feet away from your dwelling, that the seeds would eventually grow and become the like manner fruits and vegetables, right? Mm-hmm. So the women began to preserve seeds. So it's then agriculture began.
Yes.
So we can bum fist on it and say, one level of evolution. We can say that's one level, right? So we can categorize it and say, now we are contextualizing this essence of human evolution. So that is a purely physiological form of evolution based upon observation and just human drive to be fed.
Yeah, really.
So then that is purely biological. So we are coming to now, we are going over to Brother Bob now. So Bob, if then humans move to the point where we gather our food till we can farm our own food, then what would be the next form of evolution? Wouldn't it be mental evolution then, right?
Alright, based on my point for human evolution and human growth, I'm going to look at that spiritual point of view as a plant. How plants operate, how plants react. Human can learn how plants behave so that can be able to grow them in a time by nature. How? Because nature grow, evolve, cut, heal food, you know. When humans understand what nature does, they can understand what they go through their own personal life so that they can able to grow and evolve the consciousness and adapt in situation and challenges. So then we for the total evolution.
So for the social evolution. So then now the mental then.
Right.
So to keep it contextual, so the mental you're suggesting, Bob, after man learn through observation of nature, then you say now through the mental processes now, then there'll come a social evolution. So then are we then to then suggest now, Jamaica, that a society are the formation of organized human ways after agriculture was the next thing? Because you feed now, your belly full. Bob suggests now, so you start to observe nature, you start learn to think, and now you start form a construct of that thinking. So now you start say socialized, organized way of living now.
Alright, because you just make a point what you can learn from nature, because nature teaches us how to be patient and that thing going in the reality in the present moment, you know. And nature teaches about be grounded, you know. Grounding of everything, so it helps yourself grounding yourself and touchability of yourself, you know. So, and nature don't kill nobody, you know. So nature they deal with oneness and peace. So if you deal with yourself oneness and peace, your reality change how you behave.
All right.
You with other people.
So we're dealing with human evolution, and we're seeing that we have contextualized it, slightly making the argument along the lines of a more natural form of evolution, not necessarily sticking along the line to how it's put in the in the anthropology textbooks, right? Which suggests it's hunter-gatherers, right? So in my perception, it's the gatherers first, then come the hunters, right? Then agriculture came somewhere along the lines of that. Then we have evolved into a social evolution. But before we jump out of the social evolution, the social evolution came through the mind. The mind is something that has not ceased, right? So we can then delve a little further into the evolution of the human mind. One of the things that has come out of human mind is perceptions. So we cannot jump from the mental evolution and the social yet into the spiritual until we talk about the perception that the mental evolution got. So would we then suggest through the mental revolution now, people started to differentiate themselves, Jamaica. You know, things say maybe racism started, you know, things say preferentialism started, because I can say me and you and me, and this is what I prefer and this is what you prefer.
Yes.
How you view on that?
Yes. Maybe at that point, the construct of individuality within groups and self were formed.
Yes, yes. Because if we approach these things purely as something, we're not suggesting that these things are bad. We are looking at them to examine to see, is this truly how we have come to this?
Yes.
And if this is the path we have taken to where we are now, how can we ensure that we get to a place we want to be by making the best of our growth, our developments, and our evolution? So along the mental parts, we've come to the point, say, in the social evolution, as Bob said, we come forward to what Jamaica says. Jamaica say, the individualism, it spawned out of the mental processes, division of culture and class. We can suggest it also starts out of the social, Bob. Because then, based upon power now and how the social is structured, then some people might then tend to say, I don't want to be associated with them.
I don't want to be associated with that, or I want to be a part of that.
Yes, I want people to be in my way of doing things.
Yes.
So then you have dominance in culture and the super states, which now will lead to what I call the most prominent idea of the mental development. I would say political science, starting out discriminating taste and belief. Debate.
And I think when you say the political, what you call it, political
evolution, yes. Political science, yeah, that came up.
Political science or the political evolution, you have to really match it with the geo. There's always a geopolitical agenda.
Yes, because so if you then get individual and caught up in your landmass, right?
Yes.
Then the philosophies that landmass produce, or the people on the landmass produce, will then juxtapose certain kind of political ideologies, right, Brother Mike?
Yes.
And then these ideologies then come to us now as ways of life and ways of what we now call culture.
Yes.
Cognitive behavior that is now accepted.
Yes.
And then we are looking at the spectrum of it that we call the political ideology now, coming through discriminating beliefs in taste, debating what is better. Someone has said the Socratean principle, someone said the Platonian principle, you know. But the essence of it is the political thought developed out of our mental evolution, our social evolution, because now we have to drive societies now. And hence the super state that we now live in being created rather, out of those early kind of political thoughts which are said to shape how we were to live. So yeah, it is programming. But wasn't it harmonious programming, Bob? How you see that programming?
Because I've been upon about nature, how nature operates. In the beginning, there's nature, there's no building, there's no system. People live in a harmony.
Yes.
When the time come and system time come and create them own rules and regulation and political and control and generation to generation.
That's where
that is where it comes from. Something, it's something, you know. That's how you come from nothing to everything. That's
exactly.
different. They call it something and it does not make any sense. Because we know that in nature at the beginning we were okay. We had food, as I said, food was there, everybody's okay, everybody's alright, there's no.
So, if we're using the argument to suggest then something happened when we went into a mental and social evolution, into a political, our geopolitical evolution.
Yes, Bob. We something happened.
Yes.
Something happened.
I like that question. I like that topic.
And you know, to keep our viewers in tune, this is Reasons right here at the Tree of Life. You're on Celia Media. I'm Jerome Sage Butler. This is John Mike's, our creative, inventive mind. I'm Bob the Mystic, you know, videographer, you know what I mean, and a man of insight. The human evolution to us, as we have charted it from the gatherer, the hunter-gatherer, into the agricultural mind, through the feminine energy, you understand me, to then we evolve into a mental state where we began, because we were fed, we could then traverse the environment, look into the psychological, and then began to see innovations in what we were doing. And then we said, well, that led into, because we had all this time on our hands, into what we call ways of being, individual development, right? You say, yo, I want to be chubby, I want to wear my ear and locks, I don't want locks, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah, me want to wear ponytail.
And, and this is a definition, right? And then from these definitions, we go into what we call the political evolution. And this is the geopolitical. And now we say this is where we reach to the super state of the day. Because maybe a couple of thousands of years of these geopolitical evolutions have created a world that is so divided amongst race, class, and creed that Bob's overarching stressing to us is to remember nature. You know, as you say, you know, nature. Nature has suffered because thousands of years of the human thought processes being so evolved, so developed. Nature is at the behest of our winds, right? Because right now, the newest forms of evolution, let's use technology, right? Is another form of evolution that came out of the same super social and political state. Because now, in order to continue geopolitical power, oil was one of them, but the petroleum industry has fueled what we love to talk about as the technology-driven age, or the technology industry, or the cyber age, age driven by your smart devices, right? And the smart devices has created what I would say, and the ISM can chime in on this, is one of the poignant parts of the new evolution. In that, here it is that the petroleum-based products development through the silicon chip and all the technology has brought us these interactive smart devices. Now, what does that mean, these smart devices? All of that old information plus a new information plus a new possibility has now this platform, vehicles of interface in this platform. So now there's a new kind of social, political, religious, spiritual evolution going on that previously did not happen on such a macro scale. So people look at the internet as, hey, we're on the internet. So this is one part of the evolution, right?
Yes.
So here it is now. I'd like the item to address now, before we go into spiritual evolution. Is it that the current evolution of technology, as it completely blinded humans to the first basic law, home in nature under the firmament, as technology caused us to forget where we're coming from? Is it a new killer in our lives?
Well, it will kill some things, and I think it is going to kill us and resurrect us at the same time. Because some will just have to go, some going to have to dead. And I know it sounds shocking because Mike is going to be the one to say it and seal the media. Some way just going to fade away, because the perception that we have is to get up and to please the system on a daily basis. Do exactly what you are told. Try to straight and narrow. Let me tell you, it was weird. I was watching Three Musketeers, and of course, you know, a young man I run up in a musketeer thing. That white D'Artagnan. Great, fearless, noble, all of them things there. Anyways, a black man write that. Just saying. Anyway, putting it back now. What I'm saying is that at the end of the train and it was time for him to go off, my father said, oh yeah, and one more thing. Man said, yeah man, but no man, be careful, don't get in any trouble. I said, no. Experience things.
Yes.
Get in trouble. You know, don't just tread the straight and narrow. The straight and narrow will get you what is at the end of the straight and narrow. When you have some long winding road and some RP and some you buck up in this temple. It's always a temple. Don't get yourself fooled, because people sometimes we do. Me too sometimes. Yo, we should have get more than this. We should have more than this. I said that's the part that gets us now.
I said so then, to contextualize that, Mike, so you're saying that technology has somewhat distracted us then, in the sense that the real values, right? The true value, the true energy that you can grasp from life,
which is,
it's being misdirected.
Yes.
So now technology has now, it's almost like the conformity you're talking about is a suggestion that technology is getting people into this box, this constantly congealed similitude of behavior.
Yes.
Everyone is fitting like almost on the treadmill.
Yes.
All are on the grid, all are on the treadmill.
And if it's not, that treadmill is another treadmill.
Yeah. So necessarily treadmills are mental and spiritual as well as physical in some cases. But Bob, take us to another view on the evolution into technology. Because people are using technology, as him said, to do the little space out thing, to just follow the regular regurgitated information.
Yes.
They just retweeting, reposting the same garbage. We know that. But there's another kind of use of smart device. So Bob, explore that for us.
The view that the technology was Babylon people was mentally called artificial technology. When people of human growth and evolve in a Babylon technology, they call death technology, you see me? So, when you live with nature, your own inner self technology, you see yourself living 1,000 years, as the Bible says in the Babylon world, where people say these are the spiritual, intelligent people who live in nature. But every culture have a nature that live in a longer time. Chinese, the Indian, the Tibet, the Creole, Africa. You can check it out. The science is true. Western trying to hide us, our DNA, and not telling us our truth, how to connect our earth to live a certain way and live in a satisfaction with your soul that connects your earth and the heaven and feel satisfied.
So then how is the technology then now, Bob, helping us to do that? Because I know you're a man, right? Because he's the first person I see do this, right? that you are bridging that you be on your smartphone and you're playing some music that I've never heard. They're like sonic vibrations that's supposed to clear your empathic energy. And Bob was the first person I knew, and I don't mean the regular mantra music. I mean this is some modern day trance and that stuff. And I don't mean the trance into psychedelics or psychotropics. I mean the music that is a purely vibratory language in the music, through sound frequencies to generate, to realign. So that is one way.
Because what happened in nature, especially at musician that a sound from nature and create a technology to the mental or to the physical to harmonize the music. That is why everything resonates in nature. If you're learning, water, air, everything resonates on a higher frequency. So, people who don't discover nature.
Because whales use the sonic vibrations.
Yes,
that's for real.
It was more of a sonic vibration that I was getting from your music.
Right.
And it was strange because that's music that is supposedly to use to change your hair color and your eye color.
See, those are some very serious things. So we're talking about human evolutions. Right here in Celia Media today, right here in Kingston, Jamaica, Trail Life, Edna College, John Mikes, Bob the Mystic, Jerome, Sage Butler. So we started out hunter gathering into agriculture. We didn't stay there too long, and then we went into the mental evolution. We've been in the mental, and we're going to the social evolution, or it evolved into our political viewpoints, geopolitics. Bob, Jamaica reminded us about how we are geopolitically stratified, and how that geopolitical ideology, through the individual construct he told us about first, how that came into our geopolitical, our outlook on ourselves, formed our cultures, forms our super state of the current age, and then we came up.
Also formed our superstitions.
So not only the super state, but the superstition. Yes. So the kind of discriminating the kind of prejudices that is developed between cultures. Yes. So that's also developing that stage. Yes. And then we can go a little further on that, and then we came up to what we call technological evolution. Yes. That we are actually seeing out of the mental into the political, geopolitical, then here comes this new technological evolution. People are on their smart devices, people are sharing all this information we're talking about, and now you can receive specifically a kind of reasoning that we do this all the time, but now you can be privy to be in a moment that we live. This is just normal for us, right? But previously, would you have been able to do this without this level of technology? Because let's face it, Jamaica, being a brilliant soul, Bob the brilliant mystic, and myself, we're not necessarily the #1 recognizable personalities in our country or in the world. So how would we have gotten out there to even represent without this technological evolution? So from my point of view, I see that we're into technological evolution, and I know Brother Bob is rearing to go, because I think where I would like to cap off our reasoning is to bring it to where I think we are, and if we're not there, this is where we ought to be, and this is probably the part I would put my most additions into, or my most offerings into, is our spiritual evolution. Because I think that after we went through the physical or the biological, coming into our mental, right, and forming our habits, our social, our political, and now through technology there's an explosion of access to information. So then the sense of self that we can now generate in these geopolitical boxes are now broken down and expanded, because now across these divides we can now unify. Across this divide, the internet technology is making us now have a wider view of what it means to be a human being. Now when I espouse Christian principles, let's be really honest, there's a lot of people who the traditional view of Christian minded individuals aren't us, right? And we even within Rastafari as well too, right? So the essence of it is this: look how it is that the grander scape of who we are as human beings has affected us to the point where we feel assured to be ourselves. We are not overburdened by the reality of being Jamaica, being Bob the Mystic, and being Jerome Sage Butler. It doesn't scare us. Because the limited purview that used to pervade previously about the identity of what the self is, it's slowly and surely been torn away. And technology has aided the spiritual development and the spiritual evolution. But let me say this clearly. Spiritual evolution, for all the great masters who are just ready to jump at me, spiritual evolution is not new. And for us suggesting it is not to say that, oh, now we are going into a spiritual evolution. What I am suggesting, clearly in my argument, is that now we should go into a spiritual evolution. Because the cycles, the mental, the biological, and the geopolitical has taught us is that we need a space that holds all the people without those divides being the primacy. So, spiritual evolution, Bob the Mystic, take it away.
Well, one point I say about spiritual evolution, when you find your spiritual self, you have all the ants around the world. All the ants have to solve the problem, solve anything for your family, your friends, anything, and the system too. Because there's an evolution that you need to evolve, the system that you need to be fixed and be done to save the Mother Earth. If you do not evolve, you will die. The earth will die. You have to evolve so that the earth can evolve and create a new system apart from Babylonian system, because we have our own ideological from the Most High. And the Most High gives all the answers from the spiritual world to use it, the knowledge, to become practical and wisdom and inspiration and tell us everybody to fix up the problem. That's all.
So the essence of it then, Jamaics, is that as we are squarely been shifting to spiritual evolution, whether through the philosophy of the age of Aquarius or the return of the Christ, right, or the Christ conscious, we definitely see that the geopolitical divides, the wars, the media wars, the commercial wars, whether the oil wars, the wars over water that will come upon us, the wars over technology, and the wars over agricultural space, because as major new civilizations like China grow up, they see that the geopolitical reach now is going over their borders now, and this is how previously other nation states or superpowers operated. Now with all this exploitation, we see that there needs to be a new system of understanding that makes us be able to see each other more for the same value we see ourselves, and that currently doesn't exist. That only exists on a spiritual plane. Any person comes and tell you one love, one heart, one aim, one destiny. Anyone that comes and tell about we're all one blood and we're all one living life on the plane, those people are usually spiritual beings, or certainly awakened beings, and they're not the norm, because people hold to their corner of reality. People are quite comfortable in their neck of the woods. My red neck of the woods support my redneck, red, blue, purple, and green ideology, or my rainbow ideology, right? But my neck of the woods, which is my center of the world, supports our ideology of red, green, and gold, which is one love, one heart, one aim, one destiny.
Sure.
Spiritual evolution in Jamaica's term. How you see it for now?
Spiritual evolution, I would say, it's like I don't know exactly what to say, because and really it's like I'd have to totally become like a Peter Tosh for this one, because I don't know what to say. I think there was a misconcept along the way, because all these what they call religions now, all these religions now, they existed in harmony. They existed in harmony thousands of years before all of us existed. No, that is why I have to rate a man like Dalai Lama, right? Just give a
credence to him.
A credence to to that special Tibetan monk, you know. And big up to the people in my Tibet. Like, I mean, maybe they see, maybe they don't see, maybe somebody will say they'll see. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that him come, this is him, what's up, what's going on. Oh yeah, but you know things happen, things always happen. It's life. And then we start our life on a physical and well, on a metaphysical level. And we need to understand that a metaphysical level, that is where you start to see the spiritual level. Because sometimes you have to come out of yourself literally and go into the next man's shoes. Sometimes there is no sympathy.
I agree with that.
And when there's no sympathy, and when you cannot sympathize, I mean I've just have sympathy, when you cannot sympathize with a person's situation, then guess what? Your spiritual growth is dumbed down.
Yes.
There's no question about it, right? No. And this is one of the things that's why I start with the geopolitical agenda first.
Because we can even add to that, Mike, in that let's take, we don't want to single out any nation and make it be about any particular nation, but just to add on the point of Tibet and China. The political structure in China suppresses the spirituality of the Tibetan people. And one of the major things about it is that, again, you talk about, as you said, there's no way you can evolve spiritually and not be concerned about your fellow humans. Or you say it's almost like a coming out of yourself to then to be able to enter into the spiritual world. And that coming out of yourself is being able to see you or the life that you view as yourself as the life of another. And in being able to see your life as the life of another, that is a bigger growth spiritually than an ideology that you will develop to say we're all one nation. Because the truth is, that Mike's alluded to about religion, and that the religious viewpoints existed thousands of years before this modern culture. As spiritualities before this modern culture, right? So your view is that a lot of what we call religious and religion and religiosity
is ism and schism.
Yeah, it is somewhat distracted from true spirituality, which is to create better behavior. So to put my point into context as we wrap up the topic on the evolution or the growth and development of the human psyche, we can truly see that as far as we've come along the way, we've done great things, and there's no doubt that there's more great things we're going to do. One of the reasons and one of the paths to that great things that we need to generate is one that sees us, I mean all of us, that the separative philosophies and belief systems, they have to be reduced, even totally destroyed. People fear if we destroy them, individual identities will be destroyed. But we have already even suggested that through myself, that my idea of myself has been improved because I didn't purely take the cultural context of myself or the cultural context of what I ought to be. I learned across cultures that I never spent a physical day in my life, but I learned through the information, through the evolution. Yes, I empathize. I see myself as.
Yes, man.
So I'm squarely a believer that the future of human life, certainly in this epoch, is spiritual evolution. How do I see the spiritual evolution? Because there's confusion. People think that we might be floating off into some other world. No. The spiritual evolution, Mike suggested, Bobby's suggesting it. More harmony with nature, a definite more respect in how we deal with ourselves, how we deal with the environment around us, how we make cars, how we make planes, how we make boats, how we make ships, how we deal with our smartphones, our tablets, our mini devices, you know what I mean? How do we deal with our Kindle? How do we deal with our smart homes, our smart cars, our driverless cars? Because if we are purely in a technological evolution without some kind of interconnecting spiritual alignment, which is human to human, person to person, technology will take our lives, right? And this I should say might be the point in human evolution where we might be at risk, because you have prominent scientists, physicists, and mathematicians, and even technology-based well-to-dos, who say in the Internet of Things and the knowledge of artificial intelligence, that artificial intelligence might actually take over human life.
That is the point.
Stephen Hawking, had a great fear about this, and I think there are others too. I mean, recently in this, we heard about Zuckerberg, and we heard about the guy that owns Tesla. Was it Mollusk is his name? Pardon me if I miscall his name, but those rich guys, he's not in my neighborhood, so I don't know. Anyway, but Zuckerberg anyway. So the Facebook guy and the Tesla guy. These two guys we know are technology guys, right? Multi-billionaire technology guys. And they were currently fighting over the premise of they're currently fighting over
Two word.
They're currently fighting over.
That happened. They're fighting over.
They're currently alright, Bob. So they're currently fighting over, or I should say having a war of words, over the idea that artificial intelligence is dangerous or not being dangerous, because the Tesla guy is saying that we should have more safeguards around this artificial intelligence, about these driverless cars, about these Internet of Things in your home, you understand me? About these Alexas and all these cameras, these listening devices in these smart devices. Zuckerberg is saying that people like him is over-exaggerating the point. Maybe Stephen Hawking is over-exaggerating the point. We were discussing machine intelligence before. So as we talk about the evolution of technology and the need for spirituality, we need to have the mind to not let technology lead
overrun us. Because you need to understand that most of the things that that we have that what it does is replicate, and it does that terribly, is the human brain. Argumento. Everything that we have replicates the human brain to a level, and it does that terribly. Even the camera that is filming this right now, because there is no intellectual process with it. You have to press it button.
But let's just say if it is. But listen, Mike, we're talking about when I come to this stage where that would be, AI.
Where you say you talk to it and it.
No, you don't have to talk to it. You just make sure, say, from it a camera, it knows I film it to film. And it will film, it will edit itself too. So the future of such technology.
When it film, I'll do some bad things now, because we're ready for say some things I remember some up and see the media. But I do some bad things now. Because remember, as them say telephone thing, mash up life, and I say them little telephone here, we have a press button, and it is keeping you. It's like it's to invade your privacy.
Well,
that even is like.
It is invading your privacy.
Because, some of it will turn on by itself.
Yeah. The next point, I like that point in Jamaica. Because, as you say, invade your privacy. But it is technology, and then you're not supposed to consider it like a human being, to be afraid of it. But what it does is that it interlinks other human beings. And if you have bad views of those human beings, you're coming right back to my point. If we have bad views because of our geopolitical and we religious and our personal views, and then we have technology, what are we going to use the technology to do? Create more divisions.
To spread that propaganda about them and to create a wider division. But as again, sometimes there are people before us, after us, like us, who will seek to put the truth,
absolutely,
not just what other people want to say, but what we have to say, what we see necessary to say, and it's what Bob has been saying. You will need to get back to a point where nature or the technology that we build,
the premise of our spiritual evolution, just your final views, because you've been the person who mentally, you've been the one always been in that spiritual plane. You have often lived the life where we say spirituality is your entire life, And you look at the physical plane almost sometimes as an hindrance. Direct pointers for the human, individual, and community right now. You talk heavily about nature before. You remind us that we should remember, involve it. So the spiritual or the natural law of spiritual evolution. Give us your take on that.
For me, the natural law from your own spiritual time. You work with it, and everything will originate as people who are their own spiritual time will help us as unity, as a collective time, you know. All the idea that you get from the technology, it applies for your mental and create political structure, organized structure, harmonize, you know, everything working in one. Reason why you have to spiritual evolve. If you don't spiritual evolve, there's a machine instead of tick, there's a machine that bubble and create look like we, they will control you.
That's the old cyborg generation.
Right.
So
that is why we have to prepare for this generation to evolve before the other generation come with the new world order.
So,
that's
Bob,
where the head of the machine where it look like humanized.
Yeah, Bob, you almost evolve a thought process of the human interface with the machine, because that's the next thing now. Technology has given them such a vast improvement on the interfaces between man and machine.
Yes.
So now the whole idea of cyber or the cyber organic being is coming more into reality. Or the cryogenic programs of, you know.
The cyber organic machine come to the reality because they know that the spiritual people going to evolve the planet. So the machine are here to come to stop the planet and give out microchip and shut down your pineal gland and shut down the liver and shut down everything what they want you to do. So that is why the main thing right now, just finding yourself, just finding your nature self. That's the only way you can start life.
Okay, so we can evolve from what Bob is saying, that the path to your complete awakening and presence and good placement in current society. Find yourself, find your natural rhythm and understanding of how you process information and how information is valid to you. How that information creating behaviors, ways of life and styles of living, what people call lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
How you create your lifestyles, and then how your lifestyle now becomes engendered in other people, because as other people sympathize with you and other people, and as you sympathize with other people, how it is now that all this now becomes a new way of life. So if we can see from the personal self-natural evolution, knowing thyself, now after knowing yourself, acting from an enlightened place of awareness, right? We now see we have to construct better families, better communities, better nation state, better regions, and a better world. A harmonious terraformer, blessed human beings under the firmament, living out the fulfilling nature of God's truth. I see that our time on earth has been a very valid one, but we should not waste the experiences or the expertise of all our ancestors, both on the good and the bad. We have evolved to a point where we are so stratified in our new political, geopolitical masses, social and spiritual, individualistic viewpoints, that we have so pushed ourselves to the uttermost farthest ends of relation to each other. Spirituality is saying it's the only way we can reconnect the points so that electromagnetic energy can flow being to being. We can have more harmonious societies, as Bob is saying, that we will not build in environments that irritates nature. We will not build on the meridians that choke up the energy flow. Because we know there are beings who, they know where the meridians are, they know where the energy centers are. And they go put up these temples to their old materialistic empire or the hedonistic empire, whatever you believe in. And they pitch their tents of aggrandizement on the meridians. We've got to stop doing these things. On the meridians must be temples. And temples must have a universal, or we call the cosmic awareness. What is that? That a man's journey, or OAD, what we call the road, is his individual nature. All roads lead to one place, or many roads lead to one place. So, in knowing that, the temples we must create in the new age are non-denominational, but doesn't take a man out of his knowledge of himself. So it won't tell a Christian, don't be a Christian. It won't tell a Jew, don't be a Jew. But let us all have some sense.
Yeah.
How can you say wisdom and truth, love and justice is only to your own kind? How can you say you only show love to those who are your own persuasion? These are the reasons why dark needs to convert light and light needs to convert dark. These are the reasons why nations are trying to change others to their ideology. Jamaics, why can't you be Jamaics and be loved and accepted as you are? Does it take more than being yourself? I don't think so. Same for me.
Shouldn't.
Same for Brother Bob. Same for you.
Yeah.
So when I stand as myself is accepting you as yourself. So the ideologies which should persist in the new temples of our existence is to respect Christians as Christians, Jews as Jews, Rastas as Rastas, Muslims as Muslims, no committant and non-committant as non-committant. We are living beings. We are non-committant, but all committed, and we're all involved.
Do not be afraid to find your spiritual time. Once you find your spiritual time, you have no worry to argue with nobody. Everybody that the same collective vision in the spiritual world, and you don't need to be a hero in the outside. Be your time. You don't have to talk too hard. You don't have to be too intellectual and too many big words. You don't need big words. We need to speak our heart and speak the truth.
True that.
Truth. Yeah.
True that. So being yourself, loving you for you, loving your environment, continue on the path of spiritual evolution, cultural, yeah, and even ecological evolution, yeah. Help the plants, create technologies that are healthy with the natural environment. Create technology to clean up the junk out of your natural environment.
Make social policies to help the needy, like the real needy, like the people who really need it.
Give more grant funding to organizations that need it, to individuals that actually take the money and feed people and do produce the materials they say they are producing. Give it to groupings who are doing something to advance not just their pockets, but their communities. There is a new wave of consciousness upon the planet. It's not taking women out of women and making them men. It's not taking men out of men and making them women. It's seeing women as women, men as men, and all who are caught in between as who they are, until they can see themselves as who they truly are. So, seeing you for you, I hope you're seeing me for me, I hope you're seeing us for us. Evolving, growing in the human, because that's where it's at, the human. Glory to the Most High God. This is Jerome Sage Butler, the Tree of Life, Jamaics, Bob the Mystic, just reminding you, your absolute blessing and gift unto yourself and unto your environment. We're just reminding you, we don't represent any special interest organization, no matter what our symbolism might look like. We are Tree of Lifers. Man and man and man, king and king and king, and the women and the empress in the environment. So I want to big up Chin and Was and all the others in the environment. You understand me? Because they're here as well too.
Silent was here.
So we represent no special interest organization, no super saiyan right here. This is Tree of Life. You understand me? Humble living beings with our attitudes and our behavior.
Normal people.
Growing. So continue to be your blessing to yourself and to the environment around you as we try our best. Continue to grow in the human. Blessings and love.